Hello, my name is Courtney Winston. This is Andre Carter, my actor, friend, colleague. And you know what? We watched a very interesting clip on Good Morning Britain, presented by Piers Morgan, and he asked the question to Andy Peters. What was it?
Why is there not more black and ethnic minority people involved in the film and television industry?
And yeah, you know what? The funny thing about it is that he spun the camera around in the actual studio and he asked the question, yeah, why there's no hardly any black people in the industry. He's the only man of color, person of color in the studio, and oftentimes as actors, we work in the industry. And it's a case of spot the black. There's hardly any sound, there is a lot more now, but we hardly find any ADs, assistant directors, runners, female runners and ADs, sound, boom mics. It's very minimal.
Operators, yeah, very minimal.
You know, very minimal.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
This whole issue of diversity at the BAFTAs,
Yes.
which is also going to hit the Oscars. So for years now, BAFTA's been announcing, we're going to be more diverse, we're going to be more diverse. The movie industry has become much more diverse. They're making many more films in a much more diverse way.
Yes.
And yet, when the award nominations come out for BAFTA, all 20 acting awards are for white people,
Yep.
white actors, and on the director front, not a single woman. Where is the diversity? And because it's not there, what is going wrong?
I think fundamentally, there aren't enough people of colour working in our industry. That's a fact. Am I or am I not the only person of colour standing in the studio right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, I am. So do you know what? So there just aren't enough people working in this industry to then be nominated based on their talent.
But there were a lot of actors. There were a lot of actors this year.
Okay, I would say we had a brilliant British film out last year. It was controversial, but it was superb.
Yep.
Blue Story,
Yep.
about gang violence.
Yep.
And it had an amazing moral story to it as well. One of the young actors in that, Michael Ward, young black actor, did win an award at the BAFTAs, but for Rising Star. But none of the other actors or the director were nominated in the main categories. And I remember, you know, we did, and when we've discussed this, young black people say you can't be what you can't see. So, you know, if you nominate these actors, these directors, these films, then that provides the role model for others to follow up in their stream.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but
So it's not just the lack of representation.
No, but he makes a good point. Does it? I mean,
I know, but
Andy does
it's
make a
why
pretty good point.
No,
He's the
absolutely.
only black person in this room. I mean,
But
that
why
is a pretty
didn't BAFTA
indicative sign of where the industry needs to wake up.
Why
right?
didn't the BAFTA judging panel pick a brilliant film, brilliant actors, and a brilliant director to nominate?
that then, I mean, it then goes to a much deeper level. Is that then institutionalised racism? Because
Yeah.
they just don't see that film as a great, it's not a BAFTA award-winning film.
It
There
has
we
to
go.
Be. It has
There
to
we
be.
go.
Yeah.
It has to be,
and
I think.
I
In a
think-
way, it has to be.
Still lacking a lot of black and minority people in the industry. And it was very interesting that it was raised, and the fact that, you know, even though we have been talking about this for many years, when it comes to the main award ceremonies, we're still not getting a look in where the nominations are concerned, let alone winning anything.
And you think is it connected with the population or the populace of black minority ethnic people in this country, black people in this country? I mean, we're about 2% or 1.8 million of us in Great Britain. So some could argue, oh, well, it's reflective of the population in Great Britain. And but then in the same way, in the same wise, what would you say about that? I mean, in America, it's about 40 million black people, they're African Americans, but yet blaxploitation historically, when Hollywood was on a decline in the 70s, it was blaxploitation that brought Hollywood up again economically.
Yes.
And it's the same now in our modern era, because it was Straight Outta Compton, Get Out, Black Panther, that really saw box office prices soar through the ceiling, you know? And a lot of people used to come with that same comment. You ever heard of this thing, Andre, where oh, black films don't sell. And we used to believe in that lie.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And obviously, as Courtney mentioned, those films that you just said, they have broken some box office records of recent times. So I think it's very interesting to bring it to an article that Lenny Henry talked about a couple of years ago. And he brought up some very interesting points and facts. One of them being is that, you know, when we're having these, when we are represented on film or TV, it should be told by a director and a writer who is actually of that ethnicity to be talking about it. Because a white person per se is not going to be able to tell the story from a black person's perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're talking, you see that term diversity, I mean, sometimes I wonder about that word diversity. I mean, we're talking about, oh yeah, let's push for diversity and all that, but, or inclusion, that word inclusion. And sometimes diversity, I've heard somebody say this, I can't remember who, but diversity can be another way of saying an illusion of inclusion.
Yes, I've heard that.
So it could be, we're giving the buzzwords, we're paying lip service, but really, we're not quite there yet. Because this article that you're talking about was written in 2018.
Yes.
So what has been done since then? And by the way, we've got to give credit to Georgina Lawton.
Yes.
And the Guardian newspaper, yep, get your receipts right.
Yeah, for doing the article.
Yeah.
And to Lenny Henry.
And to Lenny Henry.
Bringing up some very important poignant facts.
Yep. To Lenny Henry.
What we want to know is since then, since this article, what has changed? Has anything changed? Because it brought up not only the fact that the stories should be told by the representatives of the people, the story being told, but also that we need to ask for these tax breaks because they boost the economy tremendously, in fact much more so than any other industry.
Yes.
There's a few statistics here that we'd like to mention for you just to give you an example. For instance, in 2016, an estimated 632 million in tax relief stimulated 3.2 billion.
3.2 billion.
3.2 billion of direct production spend. So in other words, for every £1 tax break offered, the industry grew by £5.
£5, yeah, exactly.
And that's a great return on investment.
Great return. I mean, and you know, by the way, film industry is not just about those who can act and tell the story, but it's for writers, creative writers, it's those who can do construction, art, design, craft, produce. There's work for accountants. It's a whole government, a whole, you could say, cadre or military movement.
That's right.
Of a collective of people who want to put together this vision, this film, or tell this story. So it's not just about the actor, you know, taking all the glamour and the fame and
that's right. There's so many behind the scenes. There's so many people that go into making these movies. I mean, before I got into acting myself, when I would hear of these big budgets being spent on these movies, I couldn't understand where all the money went to. It's only as I got into the industry and I saw the amount of people involved. I mean, when you look at the credits, which a lot of people skip past, all of those people,
all of them, man.
They're all involved and they're all an integral part of making that film happen. And when you understand all those people that are there day after day, months on end, for over 14 hours a day sometimes, you understand where some of that money goes to, and it's well deserved.
Exactly. Do you think, Andre, that there's a connection between austerity, poverty, okay, looking at the black community and say, for example, the rise in knife crime with what the media, whether they want to say it or not, directly or indirectly, they're saying it's a lot of black youth that are doing it. Do you think there's a connection between black youth, knife crime, gang crime, and the prison population with some of the young people, and then at the same time, perhaps presenting a solution, economic solution? Do you think there is some kind of connection with economics, poverty, and crime, and knife crime? And could the film industry, as you said, quoted there from The Guardian, if we was to invest in that, especially in a black minority ethnic media, do you think we could connect to poverty and somewhat remedy the things that are bedeviling the community right now?
I would say there is definitely a connect. There's definitely a connect. Sometimes I also feel it can be overplayed a little bit. You know, because, you know, as much as we are a product of our environment, we still all have choices. I feel that sometimes we're fed and we feed into the narrative that the media provides. I believe that there isn't really any. For me, a lot of the time, when there is something of black television or film done, a lot of the time it's negatively done.
So like slave films or something?
Yeah, slave films, gun and drugs, crime, all that kind of stuff.
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty. Yeah.
I mean, you know, unfortunately, that's the roles that are there. That's what's being offered to us. You know, as actors. And as actors, we want to get on. Sometimes we take these roles to try and move up the ladder.
Yep.
But this is also a reason why I feel it's important that we need to have our own, start building our own, because there's a whole section of society outside of those narratives that affect us. So I feel sometimes that, you know, we're kind of viewed as, you know, America's little brother or cousin. we with a lot of things, not everything, because we're quite advanced with certain things where they're not. But with certain things, we always play catch up. And in the same sense where America had certain gang culture in the 90s, 80s, 90s, I feel that we're playing catch up now with that same kind of gang culture over here in the UK, in our major cities, London, Birmingham, and all those places. And you know, I'm sorry to say, I feel that some of the, like I say, the narrative that we get to see feeds into that. You know, whether it's grime music, drill.
Certain and drill originated in America.
Yeah, I mean, although I enjoy the program, things like Top Boy.
I love Top Boy because I'm in it.
You know, all these things, great
message.
Well, good acting, well produced, but it's time that we now show the other side of our society. Because we're not all out here selling drugs, doing crime. Yeah, we've got some very affluent black young people coming up, and people that have come up before us that are doing big things, and we never hear their stories, and I think it's time.
Yes, my name is Courtney Winston, and this is Mr. Andre Carter. We are both actors in the industry of arts and entertainment, and we would like to invite you to a thing called
Speakers Lounge, networking and after party.
Called BlackCast, with guest speakers with man like Leon Ostrom, who's a director and producer, and also Sebastian Fulcan, freerunner actor. You see him in Casino Royale. Also man like Sean Romanus, Top Boy and Intent actor.
Monica Lee will be hosting it, and this is all going on at
the 23rd, right here in the Collective, Canary Wharf.
23rd February.
23rd of February, 7 p.m. on a Sunday. Nice evening out, cocktails, bring your friends, come meet some industry people, come on learn, come on network and succeed.